Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm writer Coach Tony. This is my third movie review, and it's kasi I'm rushing after the nominations for the Oscars, which will be released on this next week on Monday. No? So the third movie today that I'm going to review is Nomadland. It's directed by Chloe Zhao. It stars Frances McDormand and David Strathairn and a host of actors who live in a caravan. Um, the movie has been sweeping most of the awards, no? And it deserves the awards. I agree with that. Um, but in a way, it does touch me on a certain level. No? I love the idea of traveling um, where you live. But in my case, it's in the Philippines. You don't really have. I mean, you don't have trailers. We have this van. You have to live in a van. And since I'm old, I have like certain needs. I need to stay in a nice place. So I'd rather do the vacation route and go from place to place. I think that would be a better idea rather than being, lugging around a van, no? Um, but I love the idea because in the movie, Frances McDormand's character suddenly loses the town where she is disappears from the map. It loses its postal code because the factory, the gypsum factory, who supports practically the community, is there no more. So what happens is everybody loses their jobs, and the whole town kind of the town dies. So Frances McDormand's character Fern experiences that. No? She's kind of displaced from the place where she lives, and then she has to live in a van. She's like houseless, homeless. I can relate to the story because my dad worked before in a mining town called Lutopa, no? Don Andres Soriano, we call it Das. It's in Cebu. It's in Tulad City, Cebu. So Lutopan, it's also known as Lutopan, is in the mountains. So it's 1 hour from Cebu, 1 hour from Toledo City. But it's part of Toledo City. And in the 1980s, the company, the copper, I think ran out or something. But anyway, the whole country, because at that time, we have to remember it was during Ninoy Aquino's time. No? He was assassinated, and the whole country was plunged into hardship. So the town kind of when the mine died, the town disappeared. No, everybody had to leave. No, and my family and my father, my papa, were one of the first families who left. So we went to Cebu City. So anyway, I'm saying that because I can relate to the story of Fern. Although what happens to Fern is even more dramatic because she becomes poor. No? In the movie, I mean, for most Filipinos, the movie is because we don't believe that there are poor people in America. No? For the average Filipino hasn't traveled yet, the concept of a poor American is a concept they cannot grasp. But in reality, as shown in the movie, yes, poverty does exist in America. The only difference is the poverty there is not the same as the poverty here. In a way, you can be poor there but still be middle class in the Philippines because of the higher standard of living in the U.S. And if you have a van, if you have a car, you're not poor. In the Philippines, you won't be poor. Um, but I guess in the U.S., in a way, you'd be classified as living in the fringes. Um, for best director, I'm debating whether to vote for Chloe or the director of Ma Rainey's Bottom, um, because I love how Chloe allowed the movie to, she presents the movie to you. She doesn't force anything. No? She's like just following Fern and her progression, how she's trying to cope with the situation she's in. She's in a very difficult situation. She lost her husband. She lost her house. She now has to pick up the pieces, no, and live with dignity. And that's what exactly that she does. So she does it exactly. She gets odd jobs at Amazon and all these companies. She's not picky about work. Basta work, she wants it, and she's a decent person, Fern. No, in the movie, Frances McDormand gives a beautiful performance again as Fern. Um, Actually, I would be surprised if she wins Best Actress, but yeah, she. I love how she portrays it. No, she becomes because the other, well, based on what I've read, the other characters in the movie are real caravan dwellers, and when you look at Frances McDormand, she becomes this caravan dweller. Um, when you look at her, she inhabits the character of the caravan dweller, of the trailer park woman. And actually, the movie is beautiful in the little scenes, no? When they tell you where they shit, or they tell you the part where David Strathairn asks her to stay with him, with her kids. No, I love those scenes. And then when she was traveling, she comes across these thunderous things in the Pacific. It's beautiful, the waves, the wind. She was in a moment where nature it looked very cold, but the scene was very powerful, and you know the cinematography just really shows how beautiful the scene is. Um, yeah, that I think in a way the movie should win in that category: best cinematography, best director, possibly best picture as well. But anyway, my vote will go to another movie. Um, there's a beautiful scene towards the end where one of the older characters say, "I don't really say goodbye to people. I don't give a final goodbye because most of these people I meet them along the road, so I don't really say goodbye to them." And in a way, that's how we look at life. No, we don't really have to say goodbye because we might meet these people, maybe not here on earth, but up in heaven. Because I'm Catholic, I believe in heaven. Life after death, I believe in heaven. So, yeah, you don't really have to say goodbye. You just have to say, "See you along the road," and that thing is really very touching. No, that's why I guess this movie should also be nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay. But anyway, um, before the nominees come out, I'm going to give you my picks for the nominations. And Nomadland is there. No, it's beautiful. It's an ethereal movie. It touches you in parts where you haven't been touched before, and it in a way it's not the normal movie, because it's like a documentary movie because Chloe shoots it that way. Chloe Zhao shoots it that way, and she allows you to immerse with these people, this group of people who live with dignity and integrity, even if that's really all they have in the world. All they have in the world is in that van. So, and possibly in a storage area somewhere. So, when you watch this movie, you think about your own mortality, think about what you can leave in this world, what you're going to leave in this world. And especially me, I'm already in my 50s, I have to think about, what's going to happen towards the end of my life. And I was seduced by the idea of Nomadland. I think I want to do it, especially when the kids finish school, travel, go around places, live in places. Yeah, that way of life. So anyway, thank you very much for the time. I suggest you add me in my Facebook, my Twitter, and my Instagram, and then please subscribe to my channel, Writer Coach Tony. Thank you very much for your time. Keep safe, everyone. God bless.